Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at a cryptic crossword from the Lovatts website, a link to which can be found in the description if you wanted to do it yourself. We're going to be looking at the one for Saturday the 3rd of May, and it's actually my second time recording this video. I recorded it earlier and managed to delete the footage, so this is not my first time looking at this puzzle, in case anyone's wondering why I solved some of the pieces so easily. Okay, so from memory, I started out over here. We've got the clue curtsying to Hope and Crosby. Now the key thing with all cryptic crosswords is that the clues that you're given are effectively two clues in one most of the time. You often have a straight definition like a normal crossword, but then as we've got in the rules of cryptic crosswords over here, you usually have something that is more that narrows down your choice, that makes it more specific. That can be a piece of wordplay that speaks to the exact spelling that you're using. It can be something else that really tightens it into that one word. So in this one, for example, we can read this clue in two parts. We've got our definition, which in this case is curtsying. We've got our wordplay, which in this case is Hope and Crosby. So Hope is referring to the comedian Bob Hope. Crosby is referring to the singer Bing Crosby. And that gives us curtsying, bobbing, which means curtsying. So what else have we got then? Hamburger, for instance. Chewy centre is relevant. And on this one, the first time I looked through, for instance, I thought, okay, that can mean an example. Let's look at the word EG, the acronym EG. We've got a G to start, so let's turn that around. I then realised that the word relevant might be our definition instead of hamburger. And thought, well, if something is relevant and it starts GE, then it could be germane. And the way that works is hamburger, for instance. Hamburger is an example of a German, not the food, but someone from the city of Hamburg. And then you're taking chewy centre, the centre letter of the word chewy, putting it on the end and getting germane. And one of the reasons why Lovatts is a somewhat easier cryptic crossword and a good one to get started in is as you complete words, it does indicate whether that word is correct. So what else have we got? Let's use these crossing letters. C middle of Australia in coach. So immediately I saw coach and I thought, might that be train? And then it's just a case of justifying that to see if it's right, or of demonstrating that it can't be that to try again. So in this case we've got middle of Australia. Australia is 9 letters long. We're going to take the middle 3. So it's going to be TRA. And then we've got the word in, which we're just going to type in. And that gives us train, which means coach. It's related to vibrations of the crust, seismic. So I actually have a bit of an issue with this clue. So the answer is going to be the word seismic, which we get from the phrase seismic here. It's a homophone, it sounds like it, and the word seismic means relating to vibrations of the crust. The seismograph measures how big those vibrations are. The issue that I've got here though is on this clue you can expect to see an indicator that it's going to be a homophone. It won't be as clear as sounds like the phrase seismic, but you should have something in there to demonstrate that it's going to be spoken word. We kind of do in this one, because the word size indicates some sort of verbal exclamation, a breathing out. The issue is we're already using the word size for the phrase seismic, so I think in that clue, while we've got it, and while it's not difficult, doesn't quite work. Santiago native has some Tai Chi leanings. So on this one, Santiago is a city, My first thought on this was, is Santiago I think it's a capital, is it the capital of Chile? When we got to some Tai Chi leanings, then we can immediately see that the word Chilean is hidden in that. So we're taking some of the phrase Tai Chi leanings, and that gives us Chilean, which would be an example of a Santiago native. Italian beverage used to make plastics and ends in an I. Again, this reads, this is a hidden, we've got the word asti hidden inside the word plastics. At this point, we've got quite a few crossing letters for very eager to use tradesmen, ask around. Very eager to use tradesmen. Now, can I remember what I did here? Yes. So on this one, we've got the word around here. So our definition here, again, definitions are usually the first couple of words at the start of the clue or at the end of the clue. So our definition here is either going to be very or very eager, or maybe very eager to use, but that feels unlikely. Or it's going to be around, ask around, or tradesman ask around. Now, the word around here also is a good positional indicator. So in this case, I began to wonder, could this be indicating an anagram? And actually, ask, tradesman, and use together are 15 letters. And as soon as you see that, and you see that we've got a couple of crossing words here, well, the fact that you've got an A, and this is a two-word piece, a two-letter word even, makes you kind of come to certain conclusions. And on this one, we've got as keen, as mustard, as our anagram, meaning very eager. Side dish in Crusaders, Sultan, Foe. So in previous clues that we've seen here, we've had something like the word in that is indicating a hidden. Crusaders, Sultan, Foe. Now we've got a D here in there, we've got an N that's in there, they're not in the right positions. So actually, what I'm going to say is that side dish, an example of a side dish, is likely a salad. We have the word in, just written plainly in the clue, and that gives us Saladin, who was the Sultan foe of the Crusaders in the Middle Ages. Bitterness caused by cooling France ancient. What was this? Yes, now this is a good example of a homophone indicator. So I complained in the word seismic here that we didn't have an indicator that this was a homophone. So in this one here, we've got the word cooling. So if you're cooling something, you're shouting it out loud. And we've got France ancient, which can be a ghoul, as in asterisk the ghoul. We've got the word bitterness here, which I would suggest could be ghoul as well, albeit spelled differently. So then we just need to work out which side of this is the way that we want it. And the fact that we've got the word cooling here by France ancient implies to me that it sounds like France ancient, sounds like ghoul, but the word is actually meaning bitterness or ghoul. So G-A-U-L would be the France ancient, G-A-L-L will be ghoul. Second in command managed jewel branch. A boy last minute made breakfast spread. Now, this one here is a real casserole of words and phrases that are coming together to make our clue. It doesn't. You can see that even without knowing what it is, whether our definition is going to be second in command or breakfast spread. Then there's a lot of other words in there that go together. So the way I started with this, with the crossing letters that we've got here, a boy last minute. Well, last minute could be the last letter of the word minute. We've got an E there. So if that relates to that, then we're probably looking at a definition, meaning breakfast spread. And a boy could easily be a lad. Now at that point, we've got a 9-letter word at the end. It doesn't feel too ridiculous to suggest that could be marmalade. A branch could be an arm. So again, we're kind of just making this fit. We've got 6 letters at the start here, and we're not sure what that's going to be yet. So let's go back to the beginning and look at the wordplay. Second in command, well, same as last minute, second in command could be the second letter in command. And at this point I'm thinking, well, what's a common sort of marmalade? I'm thinking orange marmalade. Can we make that work? Something, so second in command, managed dual branch, that together makes sense as a sentence. It's quite nice. It's this fact that you've got the second sentence that makes it not make sense. So if you managed something, you ran it, and a jewel could be a gem, so orange marmalade. Time it takes for hostages to shake off crowd. So a crowd can be a host. So if we take the word hostages and take out the word host, we get ages, or which means time. So that's a fairly straightforward one. Uncool figures with equal sides. So on this one here, I think it's a little bit tricky to cut this clue. And I'm going to again suggest maybe this doesn't quite make sense, but maybe it does actually. So you've got a figure or a shape with equal sides. You've got figures, shapes with equal sides. Those are going to be squares. And if you've got people who are uncool, then they are squares. So that feels sensible. Frown upon nucleus, admit it. So in this one here, I've got the word nucleus. Nucleus can mean the centre of something, the nucleus of an atom, the nucleus of an idea. It's the centre of that atom, it's the centre of that idea. If we take the centre of frown upon, then we can get own up, which does mean admit it. Now this clue here, I'm actually quite glad that I am getting to redo, because it took me a while to get this one and I got completely the wrong end of the stick the first time. So a reporter. So reporter leaves new swordsman speechless. So in here I was playing around with the word reporter and trying to take a reporter out of new swordsman, which didn't make any sense because I was trying to take the word wordsman, which would be a reporter, out to get a word that means speechless. Actually, it's exactly the other way around. So speech would be words. If you make the phrase new swordsman speechless, you take the word speech out, and you're going to get newsman. So that clue, if you read it correctly, it's fine. If you read it the wrong way round, you get exactly something very different. Accepts as token of new position. It's quite embarrassing that I can't just see these, given that I have said I've done this one puzzle already today, but this was a couple of videos ago, so some of these I'm treating as I'm seeing the first time. So token of new position. The phrase new position I'm seeing as an anagram indicator. So if we take token of, as token, and we move that around, we give all those letters new positions, and we can make that takes on, meaning accepts. We've then got side effects, disgust, fallout. And again, we've got the word disgust there, which is indicating you're talking about something. So it's another homophone indicator. We've got fallout, meaning side effects. Thrilled to see that father is son. So in this case here, we have an acronym that is a little bit odd. So we've got the word father, and this is odd enough actually that I'm going to look this up in the dictionary just to demonstrate it. So FR can mean father. Naturally it's not there. Can we do something different? It's going to do the same thing, isn't it? Frankium. But it can also mean father. I think it's from like a religious setting. So father, FR, is son, gives us frism, which is a word meaning thrill. Even alliance has a telephone connection. So here I'm looking at the word even, I'm thinking, okay, what if we take the even letters in a word or phrase? So alliance starts with an L, we've got A-L-L-I, A-N-C-E, giving us line or telephone connection. Shout exam score with this. And this is an interesting one actually, because I think the definition is this exclamation mark. 4 letters and a punctuation point. That is it. And the answer is exclamation mark. If you shout something, then you exclaim it. It's an exclamation. A shout is an exclamation. An exam score is a mark. My short for one here. At heart, he's Muslim, a mosque official. So the phrase at heart, we're taking the heart of the phrase he's Muslim, a mosque. And therefore our definition is going to be official, but it is Imam, I-M from Muslim, A from A, and M from mosque. Sitting is mostly an obsession. Sitting is mostly an obsession. So if we take the word obsession and we take most of that word, we take off the op, but we keep the session. Session can mean sitting. He did it in one sitting, he did it in one session. He did this crossword in 2 sittings because he didn't, because the recording software broke, for example. Most similar to Eastern movement. So the word movement here, so Eastern can often be shortened to E, as in the compass point. That's always a good place to start, but actually the word movement here is indicating that this 7-lettered word Eastern actually can be anagrammed. So we're going to get nearest, which means most similar. It makes you feel safe and warm. That's reassuring. So this is kind of a double definition. You've got something that literally makes you feel safe and warm, a security blanket. Also, if something is reassuring, then it is a security blanket in a metaphorical sense. Put an end to final message, just in case. So final message, I look at that and I'm thinking, well, similar to what we've seen before, we can take the final letter, the E, and here, what do we put it in the word case? We've already got an E there, so actually, if we decide to do that, then it's forced. It gives us cease, which means put an end to. Oh, we're getting quite far on now. So prime suspect cried higher level of volume, but was carried away. So prime suspect, that's a nice phrase. That could be the definition. In this case, though, it's not. And prime suspect, if we hit the prime letter suspect, that would give us this S. If someone cried, then you could say that they wept. And if something is at a higher level of volume, then it has gone up. And I will say that where we had that one earlier on my first viewing. That was the one I had the most difficulty with. That took me a minute or two to pass. Finally, let you tear off to the races. On this one, we're going to take the final letters of let, giving us T, U, giving us U, R, tear, giving us R, and off, giving us F, which means turf. If you've got a turf, it's synonymous with race ground. So I think that's how that one's working. Cash uprising. The word uprising here, my first thought there is I want a word that means cash, and I want to have that uprising in the clue, going upwards, so turn it around. I don't think that's actually what's happening here. We've got, given that we've got P and T, it's not unreasonable to have Pat. We've got Pat Cash, an Australian tennis player. And Lovatts being an Australian website does mean that you get some slightly more Australian pieces like this in there. Uprising was the makings of a nationalist. So if we're saying that we're putting Pat in there, it's reasonable to assume that nationalist is our definition. And actually, we can put in riot, meaning uprising, to give us patriot, which is a nationalist. If we add ingredients and socialise, there's a little bit speculative here, but I did think, could this be mix in on the basis that if you're adding ingredients, you're mixing them into you're putting them into the mix and mixing them in. And if you're going to if you're socialising, then you could be doing that at a social event. Social event and mixer feels very synonymous. I think mix in for socialise is a little bit of a stretch, but I think it's okay. A drain can be seen pronto. So on this one, a drain, so the fact you've got 4 letters as your 4 words, I think, kind of very much limits what this can be. And pronto, as soon as possible. And if we read that differently, we can get, ignoring that it's 1, 1, 1, 1. If we read it instead as a 2 words, 1 letter and 3 letters, then we would get a sap, which can be a drain. Something as a drain on your energy. List of computer options includes some numbers. The word includes here makes me immediately think that this could be a hidden. My first instinct here was to look at list of computer options, because that might include a phrase that means some numbers. Actually, the way this clue is worded, while that is how that reads, we're actually looking at the other side, some numbers, including the words menu, which is a list of computer options. Start old boys talking, impolite to be pushy. So immediately, start old boys talking makes me think, what if we have the starts of old boys talking? If something is impolite, then it is rude. And that gives us obtrude, which can mean to be pushy. For the last one then, we've got bombast, supporter versus commotion. A commotion, especially given the crossing letters that we've got here, can easily be ado. So the Shakespeare play, Much Ado About Nothing. It's a little archaic maybe in terms of its usage, but in that scenario, ado is meaning commotion. There's been a fuss about nothing, and a commotion about nothing. At this point, if we've got the word commotion in there, then bombast is likely to be our definition, or bombast supporter. And given that we've got these letters, it's not difficult to say that that could be an R, and that could be a V. So versus is becoming V, and a supporter here is bra, an item of clothing that literally supports. So with that, we've completed the puzzle. In 24 minutes, that's not going to be anything close to a great time, and in fact, no, we're quite low on there. Goes to show how long it takes to talk through these out loud. But yeah, we did that in an okay manner, and hopefully this video is able to be uploaded. Catch us again next time. If you like what you've seen, please like and subscribe.